Hi everybody, and welcome to this episode of Through the Time Gate. My name is Alan, and I am your host for this installment. Yesterday, I was at Barnes & Noble here in Atlanta for a book signing by Jana Oliver, who has a new series that's coming out from St. Martin's Press, and the first book is called The Demon Trapper's Daughter. It's a really good book so far. I've started reading it, and I am that far in, and so far it's been really good. So I went to this event yesterday, and it was really a terrific event. It was a great turnout. There's a lot of people there, and Jana did a reading, she did a book signing, she did a Q&A. She talked about her career up to this point, and it was just really a terrific event. I wanted you guys to feel like you were there, so I brought my little camera along and filmed this report for you. Here are some highlights from that event, followed by an interview that I did with Jana. So here we go. Enjoy it.
One of the reasons I wanted to write the series is a number of years ago I read a book called Good Omens by Terry Pratchett. And Terry and Neil took a really interesting look at the grand game between heaven and hell. They don't refer to it as that, but it's the long-time rivalry between heaven and hell. And the fact that, you know, if they ever get down to Armageddon, the angel and the demon in this particular book really don't want Armageddon to happen. And the reason is, if hell wins, hell's really not a fun place. So this is hell 24/7, if hell wins. Or if heaven wins, then it's like listening to the sound of music for eternity. And so neither of the angels or the demons want this. So I was really fascinated by that all those years ago, and I think it's probably been 15 years ago that I read it. And I percolated in the back of my head, and I finally had the opportunity to write the series. And currently, the U.S. version just came out, obviously, or I wouldn't be here, from St. Martin's, and has a nice Atlanta skyline and the whole bit. You know, we got to show Riley sitting up there on the ledge. It's also came out in the UK, Australia, and Hong Kong last month. It came out early, which is kind of weird. Usually they come out after the US debut. This is what the UK version looks like. It has an entirely different title, entirely different cover, which has totally confused people because they're going, oh, it must be a sequel. No, it's not. It's actually the same book, except with a few more U's, because the Brits use more U's in their and we took out a short little paragraph about Sherman burning Atlanta because they weren't interested in that, and we changed things like car trunks to car boots, and tires have Y's in them, and things like that, but it's the same exact book. I'm pleased to announce that I just found out the other day that this particular book was the #1 debut YA book in England last week. Now there's a difference. There's demon trappers, which are international, but they, by definition, capture demons. There are the demon hunters. Those are from the Vatican. They just kill the things. They don't mess around capturing them. So there's a bit of a rivalry between these guys. The question is, have I had any problem with the Catholic community because I have the demon hunters versus the demon trappers? I haven't. I've been very careful, and I said up front that it wasn't my intention to bash the church. I figure I'll leave that to Dan Brown, because it would probably get me bestseller status, but I really don't need the hate. So I'm actually showing the differences of why trappers and hunters do what they do, and also how actually the church and everybody else are sort of pawns between heaven and hell. Heaven and hell plays little games, and that just to keep that balance. And it's really kind of weird, even for me who writes weird stuff. But so far I have not had anybody get on me.
That's good.
Hopefully. Catherine?
Is there a particular reason why all the other demon trappers are male?
I knew you were going to ask that question. The question is, why are all the other demon trappers male? Well, let's face it, it's A, it's South, and B, it's a sucky job. It doesn't really pay that well. I mean, it's sort of like...
You think they'd all be women?
You think they'd all be You know, the really important jobs out there, teachers, firemen, nurses, all those folks, cops, they get paid sucky salaries. I mean, and so I saw, you know, the demon trappers are keeping demons from literally taking over the whole town and making it, you know, a subdivision of hell, and they get paid very poorly. And I think just at this point, most of the women haven't been able to deal with the male pressure, and Riley's just stubborn enough. And her problem is she's stubborn and she's willful, so she makes mistakes. And that's reality, especially when you're a teen, and even when you're my age, you make mistakes. So I think that's the reason why. I looked at that and I went, I think there are women demon trappers in other parts of the country, but not in Atlanta. I don't like zombies. The people who know me don't know I don't like zombies. There was a zombie ball at Dragon Con last year, and I walk out and there's all these zombies lurching down the hallway, and I went, ah! And I'm going, I'm leaving. I created something called a deader in my books. These are actually reanimated folks who have died very pristine deaths. They're reanimated, and the necromancers sell them as unpaid slaves. And so there's a whole subculture. And one of the things that happens when Riley's dad dies is he dies, very surprisingly for a trapper, a tidy death. And she's trying to keep the necromancers from reanimating him. So there's a whole. I've got all the witches. I got all the necromancers. It's fun.
You'll know you've arrived when you look out the crowd and you see costumes of your characters.
I've had people already asking they want to dress up either as demon trappers. I go, I want somebody to dress up as a demon. Lobbing fireballs at dragon. I'm sure dragon.
So we just finished the big release party for your book. How do you think it went?
It went very well. I mean, I'm going, continue the next bookstore. I mean, I just did not expect that many people here. That's really awesome.
It was quite a crowd.
It was quite a crowd. These are all the, folks I know, folks I don't know. They're all just kind of coming in to see what's going on, and that's really neat.
Right, exactly. You'll be at Timegate again this year.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have any special plans for that?
Yeah, I would like to come up with something special to give away there. I think that would be neat.
Okay.
Kind of unique. We'll work on that. I'm looking over at the husband here at this point and saying, hey, we need to come up with something cool, and we can do that. I think that would be neat.
How far along are you in the process of writing the second book?
Second book is in. I'll be seeing copy edits this next week, and book 3 is due April 1st. So we have to.
Right.
Yeah, they have to move right along because they come out about every 6-7 months.
Mm-hmm. And how many have they contracted for? A certain number of books?
They've contracted for 3 so far. If they like numbers,
based on response, it'll.
Yep. Well,
right.
I'm hoping there'll be another 3.
Well, response seems to have been really good so far.
Yes.
The British edition came out in the middle of January, right?
Yeah, it came in January 7th. It came out 3.5 weeks early, which is then the U.S. edition, which is kind of unusual.
Right. So have you heard from them as far as?
I heard from my editor last week that the book was #1 in the UK for a debut young adult author, and #5 on the young adult list beneath such folks as PC Cast and Stephanie Meyer. I'm going, oh my God. And so, yes, the response has been incredible. They've gone back on press in Australia. They sold out the first press run. Apparently the Aussies love it. So I'm just really still pinching myself. It's amazing.
Okay, so for the Timegate viewers, tell the MTV story.
Tell the MTV. Yesterday I get this tweet from somebody who says, by the way, we did a shout out for your Demon Trappers book on MTV today. And I went, okay, is this like a hoax, So I go out and I access it, and no, it was out on the Hollywood Crush blog on MTV, and they were listing the 5 things to do if you didn't want to watch the Super Bowl. And #2 was reading Demon Trapper's Daughter. And I just like screamed, I just screamed. And then I emailed everybody at my publishers, and they screamed back down through the email. So it was oh my goodness, that's amazing to just have it come out of the blue. It wasn't something that the publisher, they sent them copies of the books, but you never expect that kind of shout out.
So there's a good buzz already.
Already a good buzz.
This has been out for 1 week.
Yeah.
And this is the response.
I've been amazed. I've been totally amazed.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, I just kind of go, wow, what did I do? I must have racked up a lot of good karma along the way.
Yeah, you lived a good life, keep your nose clean.
Yeah, no, I've never been that good.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and do the signing, and fantastic turnout.
Thank you, Alan.
So we'll see you in May at Timegate.
See you in May and in Timegate. Folks, you've got to come to that. That is a great con. Come and enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.